Hello everyone, ladies and gentlemen from all over the world, wherever you might be. In today's Callisto Protocol video, we are going to be talking about the story of the Helix Station podcast series. This is a podcast series of 6 episodes presented by Striking Distance Studios that is a prologue of events that take place before the story of the Callisto Protocol game. We will be discussing it in full detail. If you could also please comment down below if you have listened to this podcast and what your thoughts are on it in terms of the lore of this universe and what it could mean for the main story of Callisto. Overall, we will not go over every single detail about the podcast and its story, but we will go mainly over some of the gist of what it is that it was trying to tell. For me, I absolutely loved this 6-episode miniseries podcast. It really felt like an added extra piece of lore to this universe, and I think it is a very smart marketing move if you wanted to get people more on board with this world. And of course, it ended just yesterday, right before the game launched, so now everybody has a chance to go and fully listen to all 6 episodes wherever they might be. In the year 2320, a skip tracer hunts down a dangerous escaped criminal on a derelict space station. In the process, she must confront murderous alien life forms as well as an unspeakable horrors from her past, starring Gwendolyn Christie, Michael Ironside, and a slew of other various actors who lend their voices to the series. So that is basically what it is. It is a voice recording telling of a series of events that take place before the main story of Callisto Protocol. And right here in front of me, I have a whole notebook of notes that I took while listening to the 6 episodes, and so we are going to go over some details on why I love this and how they could really tie into the game's story. So overall, we follow a small group of characters mainly from the viewpoint of a character named Percy and Kane, voiced by Gwendolyn Christie and Michael Ironside, who are 2 very good actors in real life. While after completing a mission, they are both tasked to go on another mission by members of the Black Iron Prison on Callisto to hunt down a fugitive who escaped from the prison who carried a piece of cargo and flew it to the Helix Station, of which is where the main crux of this story takes place. And so from here on out, the story gets wild with so many interesting details to touch on. Firstly, from the sounds of it, this particular story sounds like it doesn't take place too far off from when the main game story takes place. And also, interestingly enough, the very first detail that I picked up on that made me think that this was very interesting was based off an audio recording inside of this podcast that made me think of 2 other sci-fi franchises, and I want to know if you guys picked up on this specifically. At 2 points in the 6 episodes, there would be this announcement commentary that came from the United Jupiter Company that felt like a propaganda piece that you would hear from something like Starship Troopers, for example, if anyone here has ever seen that old original movie. At the same time, we learn details about how the United Jupiter Company, for as shady as they are, sounds very similar to another company in another science fiction franchise in the Umbrella Corporation. If anyone has ever played the games or watched the movies, regardless how you might feel about those movies, from the Resident Evil franchise, you know the Umbrella Corporation sounds very similar in this regard, with the terrible things that they do while also promoting propaganda to make it seem like they are good. And that is just something that I picked up on, and I want to know if you guys did too. So once they get on the Helix Station, that is where the mystery starts to begin. They come across a bunch of rats, there's talks of radiation all throughout the station, there are gun sentries, and in lots of ways it does come off as a very hostile environment that's also abandoned. At one point, one of their crew dies, and then they also come across a frozen up monster. They also come across a kid who just happens to be the daughter of the so-called fugitive that they were hunting. That fugitive named Lennox, who is the scientist father of this little girl named Juniper. This starts to unravel a bigger mystery that Percy and Kane try to unravel with why the BIP were trying to hunt a scientist down. And apparently they both are with the Outer Way, which is the terrorist organization that we talked about yesterday in the BIP who are trying to kill them. A little bit more time goes on, and another member of the BIP is killed by an infected monster that was frozen up, while also simultaneously killing Kane. At this point in time, it is now simply just a matter of getting off the station for the rest of our characters. At one point, we find out that Percy is on medicine to help keep her going, and in this state, we find out that she gives away some of her story of the past to explain why she doesn't like being on Helix Station. An interesting detail that I think was also mentioned in this background of hers was that there's a potential possibility that the Earth maybe doesn't exist in this universe anymore, or at least doesn't exist in the way that we might think it does. And one day I'm going to make a video about this because it's very interesting to talk about this. We learned the station had to be evacuated at one point, and after telling the story of our characters, they wanted to blow up the station and get off to make sure none of the bio-creations that were made on the station are left alive. In the process, the last member of the BIP crew they came across is killed, and so it just remains left the last 3. And they get off the station, they find out that one of the biophages made it onto their ship. Percy and them engage in a fight with it, and in the process, while fighting, Percy is hurt and is subsequently killed after leaving the girl and her father scientist left to make sure that the secret of what happened at that prison is not gone for good. And there you have it, just overall a bit of a run through of all 6 episodes. Again, I really love this. It's just a very interesting lore-filled prologue of what took place beforehand that led to the events of the game. Since the game itself, from what we've heard, is around 12 to 14 hours long, this was kind of an additional 2 hours and 45 minutes to 3 hours of additional story for us to listen to. I think this was a very smart idea, and I think if you are somebody who has not started playing the game yet, you should listen to this first. But in this case, if you are somebody who has started playing the game, just go and listen to this after you have finished playing the story. And so that is going to do it for this video. I am planning on releasing another video later today talking about the newest piece of news and updates about what is to come for the foreseeable future for this game in 2023 for gameplay and story, so stay tuned for that. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to drop a like on the video, and again, comment down below what your thoughts are on this, and if you are excited for this story even more after listening to the podcast. Finally, of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new and you want to see more videos like this around the game. I will be covering it a lot more. I hope you all have a fantastic day and a great playthrough of the game now that it has officially released worldwide. This is Orion, and I am signing out.